justice, let's rise. Across the wire, through the storm, we won't conform, we won't be warned. Every voice, every sign, we draw the waking line. Screens light up, the message clear. No more running, no more fear. From the ashes, from the night, we carry forward burning light. Dark to light, night to dawn. Truth lives on. We press on. We rise from dark to light. Cut through the lies, ignite. Truth breaking through the noise. Justice in our voice. From the silence to the fight. We stand together in the light. This is dawning justice, let's rise. This is dawning justice, let's rise.
Good morning. I am Josh the Justice Cometh, and this is Dawning Justice, your morning news wrap up, your digs and drop show. So, guys, we had an excellent Tracing Justice last night. If you missed it, at the end of our broadcast, I am going to be playing the Q video. So, for everybody that kind of missed that, or if you just want to stick around and watch it again, it'll be here for you. So welcome in, everybody. We are broadcasting from Rumble this morning, and we're also broadcasting from pill.net, YouTube, Facebook, and let's see where else. Oh, yeah, X. X is where it is at. So thank you, all my X peeps out there. So, guys, listen, if you're watching me on Rumble and you're rumbling away in the chat like you have been for like the past 20 minutes, give me that thumbs up, give me that repost. And also, if you're coming in on X this morning, make sure that you're giving me that heart and give me that repost, and let's get some more butts in seat, because I'm telling you what, it is hard to fight against this new algorithm. What I've experienced is that the algo doesn't really want to push out live streams for whatever reason. I mean, people will tell me I don't get your alerts when you go live now. It's just crazy. If you're over on pill.net, make sure you're giving me that red pill and repost on the way in. If you're over there on Facebook, give me a little love. And if you're on YouTube, give me that thumbs up. We very, very much appreciate everybody's participation. So let's go ahead and go through our chats real quick. So we got Freedom Fire, very first one checking in over there on X, part of our Truther Media team. So thank you. And Preacher Seth also coming in saying, God, give us another blessing to breathe for another day. Amen. And Yeet Force also checking in over there, part of our Truther Media mod team. So thank you. Let's see. Good morning. And he says, good morning and welcome in. Get comfy, hit that repost, check out the morning sponsor at dawningcoffee.com, and find the links in the descriptions below. So thank you, sir, for that. And we've also got Nabil checking in, Kelly B checking in already, Cindy Rocks 260 checking in, Lana checking in over there as well. So thank you. And over on YouTubeville, we've got Wave Farm Studios. That is Yeet Force over there. So thank you, sir, for checking in. And if you say so, 1010 says, when I can catch you live, good morning. So thank you. Hey, I have got a pilled person already in the chat this morning. So I know you guys are usually a little late coming in because there's a lot of good late night shows over there on Pilled. So Seaver, hello from East Tennessee. Seaver, I am from Knoxville, Tennessee originally. I didn't know if you knew that or not. Went to Carnes High School over there. I was class of 98. So don't know exactly where you're from in East Tennessee, but I am a fellow hillbilly like you are, if you couldn't tell from my accent. So a lot of people don't know that, they know I live in Mississippi, but I transplanted from Knoxville, Tennessee down to Mississippi. So I am not a oh, Dandridge, that's right up the road from where I used to live. So I don't know, Seaver, I don't know if you know this. Maybe you've caught me in some other shows before, but actually, I lived in Knoxville, but I lived in Oak Ridge, where the Oak Ridge plant is and all that, stuff happened over there in Oak Ridge. My dad actually worked at the plant. He was a master draftsman over there for the Department of Energy. I'll have to dig up my documents one day, guys. But I was going through some of his old work documents, and guess what? My dad had Q clearance, and he would always tell me stories, when he'd come home. Here's one that I've told sometimes is that I was about 10, 11 years old, and I was sitting there playing, yeah, war stuff, exactly. Um, I was sitting there playing my Nintendo, and he walked through the door, and he said, he said, one of these days, Josh, you're going to be able to get onto your TV. You're going to be able to play any game you want to at any time. You're going to be able to talk to whoever you want to at any time over the TV, and you're going to be able to rent any kind of movie, show, or anything that you ever want to at any time. I looked at him and I said, Dad, that's crazy. I mean, this is back in 1990. Okay. Dad, that's crazy. He said, I'm telling you, son, it's coming. And it's coming a lot quicker than you think it's coming. So, and my dad never would tell me what he worked on because he was, under secrecy. I mean, my mom even told me that he wouldn't tell me, he wouldn't tell her what he worked on, and I took care of his last 2 years of his life. And the day before he passed away, they have that day of clarity, before sometimes before they pass away. God love his soul. Um, his last day, he wanted nothing but more than a peanut butter sandwich. But anyways, so I asked him. I said, Dad, you know what's coming? He's like, yes, son, I do. And I said, please tell me what you did at work. And he said, son, I can't tell you that. He said, just know that there's good things coming for our nation. And that was back in 2013, 14, I think. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, just a little bit of personal information about me. So yeah, Seafair. So hello from East Tennessee. Yeah, Dandridge. I know exactly where you're at. I know exactly. Been through there many times. All right, so let's go through. Let's see here who we got over there in Facebook. See if I got any messages over there. So Tracy Anise says, good morning over on Facebook. And yeah, Tense 15 is Tracy Anise. So over there on Facebook, she double dips a little bit. So thank you for the love over there because we've got Lana and Denise coming in over there on Facebook. So thank you guys for your love over there. And our Rumble chat. Let's go through our Rumble chat and see who is checking in. Nana2112 wins this morning. So good morning, Josh, and happy Friday. And Tense 15, Yeet Force Official checking in. And let's see here. Who else we got? Debbie V57 checking in. So thank you so much for that. And a Dutch Rumbler checking in. So thank you. And guys, I'm sorry if I'm not most energetic self this morning. I'm pretty tired this morning, guys. I was telling somebody in the chat before we started the show, and I was like, I woke up at 5 o'clock this morning and got the show ready, got everything set, and I had about 30 minutes before I went on. I said, you know what? I said, I think I'm going to go lay back down for a minute. So I went and passed out for like 20 more minutes, and then here I am. Let's see who else we got checking in. American GG checking in, Mary Cullinup checking in, and Tammy for real. Thank you so much for coming in this morning. Bibbs, hey Bibbs, how's it going this morning over there? And American GG said, I'm a transplant from Tennessee to Mississippi as well. My family is in the Shelbyville area. Oh, awesome. So awesome to meet another fellow Tennessean. So that is awesome. And, I've got to go off on a little rant for a second about Mississippi. And I know we got news to get to and everything like that, but I kind of like to tell you what's going on in my life too. So Tracy and I went to go and get tags for our car. And so if you don't know that Tracy and I were able to purchase a 2022 Honda Accord Hybrid. And we needed a new car because my work car had like 450,000 miles on it. It was a 2012 Honda Accord two-door. And it served its time. Hey, Kim, thank you for checking in over there on Facebook. Yeah, so we went and got this car. And so we went and finally got tags for it yesterday. So go to the tag office. And guys, if my Tennessee peeps will know this, okay? Hey, Greenbeard, thank you for checking in over there on pilled.net. And thank you for the can, sir. I very much appreciate that. So walk in, give them my paperwork. And my Tennessee peeps will know in Tennessee, it's like max is like $65 to get a tag. Okay. So she looks over at me, the little clerk, and says, it'd be $864 for a tag. I was like, I knew tags were a little high because they go off the value of the car here. But she said, well, here's the thing is, we have this tax in Mississippi. It's a hybrid tax. I was like, excuse me? And she said, yeah, we have anytime somebody buys an all electric vehicle or a hybrid vehicle, we have a tax on that for the roads. And I was like, oh, I said, I get it now. I'm like, so you're not going to get as much of me out at the pump in taxes. So you're going to tax me on the front end when I buy the vehicle. And I'm like, and I looked at this little clerk, and it's not her fault. She didn't. Yeah, I did say $864, Debbie V. Yeah, Mary, that is crazy. So I looked at this girl and I said, one of these days in the near future, all these little taxes and everything, these little tax offices and stuff, said they're going to be gone. And she kind of looked at me and I said, mark my words. I said, this foolishness will be over one day, very, very soon. And she said, sir, we're always going to have taxes. Tracy was standing there with me. She was like, Josh, it's not her fault. And I said, I get it, but I can voice my opinion. It's about the government. Yeah, Signal Over Noise, thank you for the check-in over there on X. We're fixing to read your devotional from this morning. But she says, they are all going by. Yeah, a Dutch Rumbler. Wow, and a disgusting amount of money for a tag for a year to drive on the road. 1 year. Alanita, thank you for checking in over there on X. Unbelievable. Let's see here. Who else we got checking in over here on Rumble? I think Jeff 82 ABN, part of our Truther Media mod team over there for the Real AF Patriot. So thank you for checking in. And let's see. Yeah, American GG said, I paid over $900 on my new vehicle last year, and it's not hybrid or electric. I know, Gigi, it's crazy. They say Mississippi. Sorry, I was turning my heat off, guys. They say in Mississippi that this is one of the cheapest places to live. Yeah, Seth, I get it. And that's what you get for leaving Tennessee. Well, when the love of your life lives in Mississippi and her whole family lives in Mississippi, I'm probably going to go to Mississippi. So, well, Debbie V will be praying for you to get you another vehicle. So, guys, I think that we're caught up in the chats. Scout Mom checking in. So, thank you. Good morning. And Jen over there and Janie over there on X. So, thank you so much for the check ins. And Monica Rodriguez also checking in over there on YouTube. We are growing. I tell you what, we had our largest audience we ever had. Yeah, Scout Mom, thank you. She said you did the right thing. I agree 100%. I'll pay that $800 to be with Tracy, most definitely. We had our largest audience that we ever had on Facebook last night for Tracing Justice. I want to thank everybody that did catch the show last night. Hey, Frog in 911. Thank you for the check in over there on Rumble. It was great. I saw everybody piling in. I didn't have Yeah, Greenbeard said, "Wait, you had the heat on?" Well, Greenbeard, there's a little story behind that. And Tracy gets upset with me sometimes because for some reason our house gets kind of hot at night. So we turn the air down to like 68. Okay. But when I wake up in the morning, it is freezing in this house. And especially in our podcasting studio here that we've got in the house. So I've actually got, as you can see here, I'll just show you guys real quick. See, check that out. So that's a fake flame, but it is real heat though. So sometimes in the mornings I'll turn that on, and I'll get kind of warm and toasty. But then I start my podcast, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm sweating bullets over here. So yeah, sometimes I have to turn that on and get a little warm. So that was Tracy's idea to put that in our little studio. Yeah, Greenbeard said nice. Yeah, it is nice until I'm podcasting and I'm sweating bullets and I forget about it. So so let's go ahead and get dived in with our well guys, my hotkeys aren't working. There we go. Let's go ahead and get started in with our devotional of the day. So, Signal Over Noise says, Destination Jesus. The older I get, the more I realize that in this world was never meant to satisfy the deepest parts of my soul. Amen, sister. Amen. The accomplishments fade out, the possessions wear out, the applause goes quiet. The things we chase today will eventually be left behind. Yet there is something in every believer that longs for more. We were created for eternity. That's why, even in our best moments, there's still a yearning. There's still a yearning for home. Guys, I get that. It's one of these things that if you're not saved, you feel empty and you never quite feel at home until you have that born again moment where you accept Jesus Christ as your savior. And then that feeling of peace in being at home comes in you. So but anyways, back to it. So I'm going to reread that. That's why even in our best moments, there is still a yearning for home. Not a place built by human hands, not a kingdom of this world, but the presence of Jesus. The enemy wants us to become so attached to temporary things that we forget about eternal ones. And Seth is always talking about that in Fellowship in the Word when we have it, and when he's on podcast. He really puts an emphasis in, lets everybody know, saying, I try my dangest to focus not on the things of this world, but the rewards I'm building up in heaven. And he is so right on so many levels. Hey, MAGA man, thank you for the check in over there on X. So, again, the enemy wants us to become so attached to temporary things that we forget eternal ones. But scripture reminds us, set your affection on things above, not on things on the earth. And that's Colossians 3:2. The world is not our destination, it's our assignment. We are pilgrims passing through, ambassadors of a heavenly kingdom, lights in a dark place. One day, every struggle will end, every tear will be wiped away, every question will be answered, and we will finally be home. Until then, may we live with our eyes fixated on eternity and our hearts anchored in Christ. This world is not my home. Jesus is. Amen. And for everybody driving on the road that can't see the screen, this is a image of signal over noise, choosing the path to the big city or the cross on the hill. She says everybody is chasing the world, and on the city, there's highlights of success, fame, fortune, pleasure. And on the cross on the hill is truth, purpose, peace, eternity. And below the city, it says, wide is the road that leads to destruction. That's Matthew 7:13. And under the cross, it says, narrow is the road that leads to life. And that's Matthew 7:14. And she says, I'm chasing the one who created it. This world is not my home. I'm just passing through. Heaven is my destination. Amen, sister. That wasn't a long one, but it was a powerful one. I think sometimes we get caught up in daily life that we honestly forget the rewards that we're building up in heaven. Yeah, MAGA man, I love it too. That was amazing. It kind of makes me choke up a little bit. So we can never, yeah, yeet, I agree. Amazingly worded. Absolutely. So remember, when you're going through your day and ask yourself, well, you're trying to earn money and everything, because we have to, money makes the world go round. I get it. But we can also ask ourselves, what am I doing? What am I doing to build up my life in heaven? What am I doing to build my house in heaven? What am I doing to build up my plantation on heaven? When you get there, are you going to have just a shack? Or are you going to have this great, great mansion that you're going to live in heaven? Signal over noise, Mimi said, great is our reward. I'm already crying. If for those that you don't know, Mimi is one of the greatest empaths I've ever met in my life, and one of the most powerful. Her and Tracy are like peas in a pod, man. Yeah. So Mimi, excellent, excellent devotional. So, guys, are you ready to hop into some news? So, we've got some more election fraud news. We've got some stuff on Iran. We've got some stuff on Elon Musk. Looks like we've got some stuff on the homeless and an update on the children. And let me tell you something. When we go into the children, it's going to make you mad. I'm just going to tell you that right now. it's these conversations and these videos and stuff, they need to be watched. They absolutely need to be talked about too. We got some USAID news. Speaking of USAID, where is USAID? Frog in 91 says, "Bring it, Josh. We're ready." Hey, Courteous, thank you for the check in over there, part of our Truth or Media podcasting team, and K9 Andrea checking in, part of our Truth or Media mod team over there. So thank you so much. Hey, guys, it's okay. Listen, I get it. When people are running late, I understand. I'm just thankful that you're here. It is 8:27 Eastern. I'm just glad I've got viewers this morning. So, hey, Onward Truth, thank you for checking in over there on Rumble. And Julie Donuts checking in. Good morning to everyone. So we got some, Julie, I've got some stuff I'm going to go over that you posted as well. Some Gutfeld, and at the end of it, sorry, guys, I've got a little bit of congestion this morning. At the end of it, I'm going to replay the Q video from last night. So I'm going to play it at the end because I know there's a lot of people in here that watched Tracing Justice last night. So they may not want to watch it again. Hey, Messy, good morning over there on X. Thanks, Greenbeard. I'm glad you're here too, man. I try to catch your show whenever I can, but as soon as I'm done here, I head out to work usually. So, but that's what we've got going on. Let me try to fix something real quick, guys. I think it was just from Tracing Justice last night where I did some things here. So give me just 1 second. I still should be set. Let's try this out again. There we go. So let's dive into the news. Julie Donut says President Trump explains why elections are a part of national security. Be ready if he calls for a national security emergency for elections, followed up by an EO for election integrity. Our elections are a disaster ridden with massive fraud. We cannot allow the fraud to continue, or we don't have a country. And this is about the SAVE Act.
This third reconciliation bill.
Yeah.
What's your perspective on why election integrity matters so much for national security from your perspective?
Well, we need it for our elections. We need to have voter identification, which you don't have right now on a national basis. We need it for, and the voter ID is very important. We need it for proof of citizenship. Do you believe it? The Democrats are fighting. They don't want you to prove your citizenship when you vote. You know why they want that? Because they cheat. And we also want it with mail-in voting, where you have people that are sent 7, 8 ballots, 2 ballots, 4 ballots, and a lot of them sign those ballots. Mail-in voting, and we want to be very judicious. If you're in the military and you're far away, or if you're handicapped, or if you're sick, or if you're on vacation, that you have but you're not going to. Millions and millions. Look at California. They send out millions of ballots, tens of millions. They have no idea what's going on. Those elections are so corrupt. So we have a mail-in ballot, and we have no men, and we had 2 more.
Hey, Burn
no
Notice,
men
thank
in
you for
women's
checking in
sports.
on
Talking
Rumble.
about saving America, right? No men in women's sports. Another one, very popular. I think it's 99-1. They say it's 80-20. I think it's 99-1. And we have no mutilization of your children for transgender purposes. So it's the transgender mutilization of your children. Does that sound good with you guys, generally speaking? You're not into transgender mutilization of
Not
your
at all.
child?
Not at all, sir.
Where your child leaves your house and they take your child from you. In some cases, think of it, in 6 states, they take the child and do what they want to do. What they do is I don't even want to talk about it. We end of your children.
So we're trying at another angle. Hey, C. Campbell 78, thank you for the check-in over there on Rumble. We're trying to get this SAVE Act in one way or another. I don't know how successful this will be. I know that President Trump is trying everything he can to get this thing passed in, but John Thune is not going to want to pass this thing because John Thune relies on the broken system to stay alive for him as well in Congress as most of 80 to 90% of Congress. I'm telling you guys, if you just realized and just saw how corrupt that everything is and how many people rely on this broken system, it's crazy. So Frog in 911 says, I saw a blurb about the Resolute desk being bugged. Is that true? So here's the deal with the Resolute desk. Do you remember when Trump had it refinished after Biden's term? Yeah, they went through it all. They went through everything. And, you know, back in President Trump's first term, before they even stepped foot in the White House, and there's Q drops about this too, before they even stepped foot in the White House, they had a deep cleaning done in the White House. So, and there's a reason they did that. MJ Truth Ultra says, kaboom. President Trump says U.S. attorneys are now looking into the rigged California election. They're all criminals. This should have been done a long time ago.
He did, Spencer Pratt. He did really pretty damn well, and they threw him out. And it was happening to Steve Hilton, and I went on a tear. And they said it was going to be 2 weeks, and they'll know about Hilton, whether or not he's going to make it. I went on such a tear that they approved it immediately. They approved Steve. It's such a rigged deal. It's so crazy. They approved him so fast because everybody was watching, and he was leading, and it was leading by a lot. And you saw his lead was dissipating rapidly. They were taking it away from him, just like they took it away from the kid. And I went on a tear. And by the way, we have the U.S. attorneys looking at it. And the 2 weeks said all of a sudden, we have a surprise. Steve Hilton won. And he did win. But they were going to take it away shortly. They were going to take it away over a 2-week period. You know, they announced that they wouldn't have the results for a week to 2 weeks. All of a sudden, they approved Steve Hilton.
But Iran.
It's a rigged election.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's get back to Iran.
I shouldn't have brought that up. But how do you feel about Iran?
But let's get...
I mean, it's being put on full display for everyone. Watch California. Midterms are safe, though. I honestly, hey, Real AF Patriot, thanks for the check-in over there on Rumble. I know you're working away at your regular job and then getting ready for keeping it real today. So thank you for the check-in, my friend. I mean, it's being put on full display right in front of you for everybody. So you can tell your family and friends about saying, hey, did you see where there was a dump of like 30,000 ballots came in and Spencer Pratt didn't get one? When is it mathematically impossible? When do people realize that all of this that's going on is not just by chance? Gunther reports Trump calls off strikes. Iran deal close to being done. Update: President Trump just pulled back scheduled U.S. airstrikes on Iran after high-level discussion reached the top of the Iranian regime. From Truth Social, strikes and bombings canceled. Deal is nearly finalized. Documents expected in the next few days, possibly signing in Europe. And let's watch this clip from Fox News.
In a deal, but the conflict to one degree or another seems to go on, and it looks like the U.S. military had to once again come to the defense of ships in the region. According to a senior U.S. official, it appears Iran has attempted to strike commercial ships transiting the Strait of Hormuz tonight. U.S. forces shot down 2 Iranian
Hey, Jane, thank you for checking in on YouTube.
Traffic flow through the strait continues, but the president did pull back from another round of airstrikes on Iran that were set to happen last night. He called them off after saying once again that a deal was at hand.
We just made a great settlement of the war with Iran, and we're going to be subject to finalization of documents, which should get done over the next few days. We probably have a signing maybe in Europe, and great thing. Oil will start coming down to, I think, even lower than it was before. And most importantly, we have a deal that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon.
And the president wrote this on Truth Social, based on the fact that discussions with the Islamic Republic of Iran have been brought to the highest level of Iranian leadership and approved. I have, as President of the United States, canceled the scheduled strikes and bombings against Iran this evening. So what is Iran's take on all of this? Here's what Reuters is reporting. Iran has not yet made a final decision on a possible agreement with the U.S. and will not compromise on its red lines in negotiations. That's according to a foreign ministry spokesman on Thursday, according to Iran's IRNA news agency. An Iranian foreign ministry spokesman told state television that the terms were mostly finalized but not done yet. If there is a deal, the president says that Vice President J.D. Vance may go to Europe for a signing agreement. Brian, Ainsley, and Lawrence, back to you guys.
Oh, wonderful.
Thanks, Doug. All right, thanks so much, Doug.
Brian?
Q drop. Number 75. I'm not going to read it all. By the time POTUS returns from his trip, the world will be a different place. Thank you, Real AF Patriot, gifting 5 subscriptions to Tracing Justice. And it looks like Nana 2112 and RPR 17 and Burn Notice and Frog and 911 and P. J. Burr also accepted those subscriptions. So thank you so much, Steve, for that. I very much appreciate you helping keeping the lights on here at Tracing Justice. And we know reports whistleblowers expose 16-year-old ballots in California election. Whistleblowers at California ballot processing facilities say ballots from 16-year-olds are being found in LA elections. Yeah, Janie over there on X says he is admired around the world, truly. Yes, he is. Absolutely. Messi agrees. Yes, he is. This election is 100% corrupted and should not be certified. Indictments are coming. Anyone involved will be prosecuted. The steal is being exposed in real time.
Look, you're in California right now at the counting centers. What are you seeing on the ground?
I just left the ballot processing center. I'm on my way to Dean Logan's office in the City of Industry. So I pulled over to talk to you because this is a very serious situation. I have a second line where whistleblowers are calling me, telling me 16-year-old kids voted. Anybody could vote in this election. This election is 100% corrupted, and we need either a recount and or potentially a federal audit.
Now, I don't know about a federal audit. I don't know if the federal government has Burn Notice said, that's a set of lips with the face in the background. I do believe that there will be some kind of injunction on this thing before it gets certified. If it does get certified, it's going to be an absolute travesty. I don't believe, Spencer Pratt is out there calming everybody down saying, patience, just wait. Guys, when you've got ballots coming in, dumps of ballots, and the Republican candidate has 0 that is mathematically possible, that should set off red bells, red alarms, red alerts everywhere on hold up. We need to go take a look at this thing. David Clement said, when we've talked to him numerous times about these machines, he's saying, Josh, these machines don't even need to be connected to the internet. It's like they already have their pre-program and they can adjust these numbers as they come in to get to the plateau that they need to make it look believable. But see, here's the thing. This is why President Trump says vote, vote, vote. This is why Q says your vote matters. is because when you have a massive influx of real people voting and the system tries to adjust systematically for the desired outcome, it is blatantly obvious. Blatantly obvious that you can't cover it up. But see, when you only have about 3/8 of the population voting, and everybody else is just so preoccupied, they're like, it don't matter anyways. You can manipulate these numbers like they did time after time after time and after time again, and it looked believable. But now that the American public is more involved than they've ever been in these elections, they can't hide it anymore through the cheating. It's so blatantly obvious that they can't operate in the shadows anymore. It's like you said, vote, vote, vote. Your vote matters. And that's why a lot of these influencers get wrong and these black pillars get wrong. They say, oh, what does it matter? Moving on. Gunther says SpaceX goes public. Elon Musk is about to become the first trillionaire. And if you joined us on Tracing Justice last night, I gave you some sauce on why I think that Elon is read into the plan. And he's also been part of the QOP from the very beginning. Huge day on Wall Street. SpaceX just debuted on the NASDAQ under the ticker SPCX, the biggest IPO in history with $75 billion in shares, around $135 each. Elon Musk is on the verge of becoming the world's first trillionaire, and SpaceX employees are set to become millionaires overnight. 30% of the shares opened up on the regular America's Robinhood, E-Trade, etc. Guys, I'm going to try just to buy one share of this thing. Anything that Elon puts his hands on is golden. Let's watch this clip.
Day for Wall Street as the company makes its stock market debut.
Fox business reporter Jerry Willis joins us now with the details. Jerry, is this like your Super Bowl?
Yes, it's exactly like my Super Bowl. Todd, Carly, good morning to you. We have shares of SpaceX starting trading today on the NASDAQ for the first time in what is expected to be the biggest public offering of stock ever. $75 billion worth of shares. We're expecting a share price of $135. Take it or leave it. That's going to be the number. Ticker SPCX. But the big headline, if all goes according to plan, CEO Elon Musk could become the world's first trillionaire. In addition, and this is important, some 4,000 employees will become millionaires, at least on paper, due to their stock options. Today's IPO offering is the culmination of weeks of planning and sales
Hey,
pitches
Casey,
to
thanks for the
professional
check-in
investors.
over on Rumble.
It's what they call the dog and pony show. However, SpaceX is allocating an unprecedented 30% of IPO shares for regular investors on platforms like Fidelity, Robinhood, E-Trade. Fidelity is even lowering the bar for regular investors to get into the deal, allowing people with just $2,000 in their accounts to snag shares. Usually that threshold is $100,000. Now, this doesn't mean shareholders will have a big voice in the company. Musk will retain the majority voting power in the company. And as you know, SpaceX has three main businesses: the reusable rocket business, Starlink satellites, and XAI. Should you buy? Well, consider this. About a quarter of IPO stocks lose at least half of their value in the 3 years after listing day. Todd?
We have a lot of sports to watch today. I feel like this is a sport to watch as well.
Yeah, guys. I mean, just imagine if you had bought into Tesla. Hey, Matt, 1776 over there on Peeled. Okay, so Matt just said there will be very brief stream disconnection. He's fixing to upgrade the stream servers over there on Pilled. So it will just be momentary and you should be back in the saddle over there on Pilled. Thank you, Matt, for letting us know. I appreciate that. So, like I was saying, is if you had invested in Tesla for the very first time way back in its inception, I mean, do I need to say more? It's going to be very interesting, to say the least. Eric Daughtery says, breaking, the Trump administration is officially defunding tens of millions of dollars from Los Angeles Democrat homeless program after rampant fraud, abuse, and waste. Long overdue. The fraud is crashing down. Let's watch this clip.
Department is cutting off tens of millions in federal funding from LA's homeless program over what it calls mismanagement and lack of safeguards against potential fraud. David Spunt live at the Justice Department. Hi, David.
Hi, Dana. Hi, Bill. This is a huge blow to this L.A. homeless authority. It's called LAHSA. They just were informed within the last hour that they are losing these tens of millions of dollars. They've gotten almost over $1 billion since 2021 in federal taxpayer funding. Now they're going to lose it as this investigation goes underway. This is from the White House Fraud Task Force in coordination with Housing and Urban Development. This is a 13-page letter that we obtained exclusively sent to this agency. According to the letter, LAHSA's received, as I said, $1 billion from HUD since 2021. The letter goes on quickly to point out that L.A. County has withdrawn funding for the agency. The city of L.A. is considering the same. The letter continues. HUD has evidence that LAHSA's repeated false statements and its irresponsible actions and failures, including its lack of financial management, internal controls, and safeguards against conflicts of interest, pose a threat to HUD, the public, and those living on the streets of L.A. Now, homelessness is a real problem in L.A. and other parts of California. It became a central focus of Republican mayoral candidate Spencer Pratt's campaign, though he ultimately was defeated at the polls. According to the numbers, $953 million was allocated in fiscal year 25-26 by the agency. Approximately 44,000 unhoused homeless people, approximately $22,000 per homeless person spent. FTC Chairman Andrew Ferguson, who's the vice chair of the Fraud Task Force, says that LA didn't care about the homeless, but the Trump administration does. Ferguson is part of this overall task force. They don't just have their eyes set on Los Angeles, really all 50 states, but a big blow to this agency today, guys.
That's really interesting and a theme, of course, in the last few months with the administration. Thank you so much.
I wonder why that just now we're defunding LA's homelessness programs. Maybe it's because that we've gotten so much disclosure out there about the homelessness, taking up names of these people on voter rolls and voting in this election. Fraud is rampant everywhere. So Tammy For Real gifted 5 subscriptions to the Tracing Justice channel, and the only person to claim those is C. Campbell 78. So what that means is that everybody who's already watching in Rumble is already a subscriber. So if you're over there on X and you're like, maybe I'd like to claim that, hop in on my Rumble channel. You may get a shot at getting it. It's an automatic thing, you know. So if you're not over, if you're watching over on X, hop over to my Rumble channel. You may get that for free. So just check it out. Okay, so it looks like we are back on Pilled.net after Matt just did the upgrade over there on his server. So thank you, Matt, for doing all those upgrades and the team over there at Pilled.net. I very, very much appreciate that. All right, this is one that's hard to talk about, guys. Real AF Patriot put this out yesterday. It's about the children. This is a hard thing that we have to talk about. Hey, JPNO, thank you for the check-in over there on Rumble. You know, we wake up every morning and, you know, we try to find purpose in what we do. The main thing that we do this for is for our future generations and our children. And all the children that have been lost during the Biden regime. Guys, I'm not going to go off on a rant on this. But if you think everything's a scripted movie, go tell it to these children, these 450,000 children that have been abused, raped, and died. Tell me that this is a movie that we're all just sitting back watching while these children are being raped and murdered over and over and over. You tell me, you justify that to me. Yeah, Debbie V57, God's children are not for sale. It's an absolute travesty what goes on in this movement sometimes. Belittling our children, saying that this is all a planned out, everything is a movie and everything is fake. Unbelievable. Real Life Patriot says children raped over 600 times. DHS Secretary Mark Wade Mullen says that they have found 146,000 children so far of the 450,000 that went missing under the Biden regime. Some of the children say they were raped over 600 times. 600. People, let that sink into you. 600 times for one child. How in the world is this child or any of them going to be able to lead a normal life now after being found? It's time for the world to learn the difficult truths. It has always been about the children.
First of all, I want to thank the Trump administration and President Trump's leadership in going after the worst of the worst. You know, I tell people that I haven't quit smiling since I've been Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, but I have to take that back because when we start digging into these cases and you start hearing the absolute horrific things that took place underneath the Biden administration, under true neglect at best and criminal at worst, to allow 450,000 kids to go missing throughout this country. President Trump has made it a point to go find these kids. And because of our partnership with HHS and DOJ, Department of Homeland Security, truly using the best of the best, which the Democrats sometimes want to demonize because a lot of times this is ICE, this is HSI, this is CBP. These individuals that the Democrats seem to want to defund, but because of President Trump, we finally funded them for 3 years. We're able to push and go find these kids. We found 146,000 kids so far. 146,000 kids. We still have nearly 300,000 missing. We're investigating reports to where some of these kids claim that they were raped 600 to 700 times. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you have kids, if you don't have kids. I don't care if you're a liberal, you're independent, you're a Democrat, you're a Republican. If you can't stand for law enforcement to go find these kids, who are you? Who are you? Every leader should understand what's going on. And do you know where we're finding the most of them? Sanctuary cities. Because they know they're safe. That's why they're called sanctuary cities. Because of President Trump's leadership, we're going into those sanctuary cities. We have mayors like Mandami in New York who want to say you're not welcome. As a mayor, he knows what's happening on the streets. He knows who he's harboring, and at this point in abating. By saying that we can't go operate, we're going to. We're going to go find the worst of the worst. We're going to rescue as many kids as we possibly can. We're going to enforce our nation's laws, and we're going to right the wrongs that the Biden administration turned a blind eye to. It's because of President Trump's leadership. It's horrific to what's happening right in our own country because of 4 years of a blind eye that allowed unvetted sponsors to come pick up 450,000 kids on our borders, knowing their reports, why the Biden administration was in office, their own reports was reporting that over a third of the females, regardless of age, was sexually assaulted before they made it to their border. They knew it was human traffickers that were trafficking these young kids to the border, and then they were unvetting or refusing to vet the so-called sponsors, and there was zero wellness checks. And they want to claim that Republicans, because we're enforcing the laws, is inhumane somehow? What's inhumane about taking care of our kids? As a father of 6 with 3 young girls, I will do whatever I have to do. I will move heaven and hell to go find these kids. And guess what? The same individuals that the Democrats want to demonize every single day, which is our law enforcement, is out there doing that job. And I am proud as I can possibly be to sit here as secretary to say, because of our relationship with DOJ, with HHS, and this administration, we're going to find you. And those that preyed on these young kids, we're going to bring you to justice. We're going to charge you. And we're going to work side by side with Todd Blanche and DOJ to make sure you pay for your crimes. So I want to thank President Trump. I want to thank Secretary Kennedy. I want to thank Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche for helping us fight against the worst of the worst and bringing them to justice.
Yeah, Courteous, it makes me sick too. Laddie Addy, thank you for checking in over there on Rumble. I know you checked in at a very heartbreaking time. Yeah, with rage, Courteous. Eat4 says, effing vile. You know, this is why we do this every day. That's why I get up in the morning. I mean, the truth don't tell itself, guys. We've got to go out there and push this truth, even the uncomfortable truths like this. This is what really wakes people up. This is the one thing, no matter who you are, we can all rally against. Yeah, Burn Spice 34, Burn Notice over there on Rumble says, hopefully we're getting close to the unity phase. We were told it was the crimes against children. Absolutely. Guys, there's still so many missing children out there just from the 4 years of the Biden administration. 146,000 found out of 450,000. Thousand, not 100,000. Just imagine if it was your child that was missing. What would you do? Yeah, Janie said, why is this not worldwide news? This is sickening. It's because the mainstream media is complicit in it. They helped it. Hey, making it make sense. Thank you for checking in on YouTube. It just makes me sick. I like to think that some of the people in our movement that say this is all one big show and that everything has been planned and all this stuff. I don't think they're really thinking about this aspect of it. I would like to think that. Yeah, Burn Notice said this is 5 large stadiums of kids. Hey, USAID paid. Thanks for checking in over there on Rumble. He says the gallows. Absolutely. Knock My Socks Off says what they done to children is an atrocity, but takes solace that a child's soul never gets to Satan. Innocents all go directly to heaven in Jesus' arms wrapped around him. This is why we do it, people. Let me collect myself real quick. Let's watch this clip from Benny Johnson.
So obscene. How do you prevent it in America? I feel like we're not as far along as Europe. How do you prevent it here?
Well, I mean, and look,
maybe we are. I don't know.
I mean, we are, and you know, the president has been really hard on this immigration policy that I think is, for the first time in who knows how many decades, actually stopping this process of just bringing some of the worst actors into our country and just allowing them either to come over the border. I mean, you remember under Biden, it wasn't just folks from Latin America. You had people from all over the world on the southern border because it was wide open and just letting people come right into our country. But the president has sealed that border. Not only that, he's now looking very hard at H-1B visas, which to me, we can't get our eyes off of that problem. Legal immigration is a problem in this country, just so much so as illegal. So the president has actually turned the tide on this, which I know many thought was going to be impossible to do. But in his term, the border wall will be done. It will be third redundancy down there in terms of border wall, in terms of the different barriers that are going to be put up. The immigration policy of this country has been turned around. So it is changing, but you got to remember, they let in millions of people into this country who we don't know who the hell they are. So we have to stay vigilant, even in our own homeland here.
Just couldn't. I couldn't believe. I mean, you want to talk about a historic white pill? The fact that like a Somali refugee wasn't allowed into the country made me chuckle. Actually, like it made me chuckle, and not like I don't know the guy. I don't care about soccer, but that's the damage, frankly, that like the plundering and looting of the Somali refugee community has done. I hope you got it great. I hope you enjoyed your time, because what you've done is you've blackpilled people in this country against the style of migration that you need to keep perpetuating, like your frauds. Like,
yes,
you went too far, right? And people are now well aware of what's going on. And man, there was no outcry when they banned the Somali referee. There was no, everyone was like, good,
yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, well, because we've uncovered all of their
not one more.
Yeah, all the nonsense they've been doing. I mean, essentially, our tax dollars, and we're looking into this, have arguably been funding terrorist organizations back in Somalia.
Of course,
right? So, I mean, it's people have had enough. They've had enough of this, and they're doing it with our tax dollars, and they're stealing our money. So it's like, not only have they come here, won't assimilate to our culture, won't be part of this country, but they're also stealing our money, and they don't even work.
Do we get rid of the Hart-Celler Act? I mean, what there needs to be some type of, I think, legal remedy here.
Yeah, obviously there needs to be some long-term legal remedy here. And I know people have talked about getting rid of Hart-Celler. I'm for whatever we can do to move the ball down the field on this, whatever that is. If it's getting rid of it, amending it, whatever, I'll take whatever I can get at this point.
Are you in favor of the bill to ban dual citizens from serving in Congress?
Yes. Yeah, I don't. You can't have a dual loyalty. I mean, you are serving in this body, in Congress. No dual loyalty. And, you know, the interesting thing about that is people who have been supportive of that legislation, Bernie Moreno, who is the senator from Ohio, who was actually born in Colombia. He is the one who has been pushing this on the Senate side. He understands this. And for some reason, there's people born in this country that want to allow for dual loyalty. No, not for that.
The border is bigger than you could ever realize. I agree with that. No dual loyalty. Why in the world do we have elected officials that have dual citizenship? How can you be working on the behalf of the American people alone when you are a citizen of another country? MAGA Man says, God bless our President Trump. Cynthia, good morning over there on X. Thank you for the check-in. This is a spiritual battle, people. Yeah, Debbie V57 says, wipe all that evil from the face of the earth. I agree 100%. You know, people, going back to that Real AF clip, that's why I support this man right here. He is the only one to ever combat all of this child sex trafficking. He's the only one. He fights for these children every day. And then we want to get pissed off because that he doesn't give an endorsement to a person that we want. And we think that we know more than this man right here. Trust the plan. That man has it all. Every single bit of it. We've laid it out over and over how he has it all. Trust your president. Trust his decisions. Yeah, Mary Cullen up 100% death penalty. Absolutely. Trust your president and trust his decisions. Trust his cabinet that he's picked. He's the only one that's ever fought for us and the children. All right, let me get off my soapbox. On to lighter news. MJ Truth Ultra says, Howard Lutnick, somehow the United States become an importer of seafood. How crazy is that? And in the end, we're going to eat fish caught by us. What a shock. President Trump just opened up 500,000 square miles that Obama made sure that only foreign nations can fish in, not anymore. Thank you, President Trump. Yeah, Real AF Patriot. Quick trials. Absolutely. Let's watch this clip.
Do we like to speak? Yeah, go ahead.
So, this action, 500,000 square miles were closed to American fishermen. You couldn't go and fish. 500,000 square miles. I mean, just think of how big that is. And if you had an American flag, you weren't allowed there. But of course, everybody else went. So they went in our waters. These are our waters. And so what did that result in? That resulted in us, instead of having seafood exports, because we have great fishing opportunity, we were an importer. We became an importer of seafood. How crazy is that? So the president is finally changing that. This is a massive win for our fishermen, massive win for our waterfront communities who process it, all these processors. And in the end, we are going to eat fish caught by us. What a shock. Eating fish caught by us in our waters. So this is just common sense, smart. We already have the best conservation rules in the world, and this was one on top of another on top of another. So thank God, from the fisherman's perspective, and I get these calls all the time, that President Donald Trump is in this office because he's finally letting our great fishermen and fisherwomen get out there and catch fish and stop importing fish. Let's eat fish caught by Americans.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have you ever, hey Pamela, thank you for the check-in over there on X. Hey Sarah O, good morning over there on X. Have you ever went to the grocery store and you're like passing by the fish section, the frozen fish section, whatever, and you're like, dang, this stuff is high. Why is shrimp so high? Especially, I live near Louisiana, people. I live near the Gulf Coast. Shrimp is absolutely insanely priced here. And I live here. President Trump keeps doing things for the American people. He's going to lower the price of seafood. And I want you to realize something. What was the one meat that everybody ate back in the biblical times? Fish. What has some of the most incredible properties in it for nutrients for our body? Fish. I mean, fish is more expensive than hamburger meat. So you ask yourself, yeah, a Dutch Rumbler said seafood is damn near unaffordable here in Europe. Yeah. Yeah, our trout, our salmon, Sarah O says over there on X. Yeah, Mary Cullinup says, I've barely bought seafood at all for 15 years. It's so expensive. Why do you think they want to get us not buying seafood? Because it is the one meat out there that God truly intended, like, wanted us to eat a lot of. You got to think about that. Yeah, 1015 says they don't want us to eat healthy. Yeah, they don't want us to eat healthy. So Debbie V57, I remember back in the late 60s, my grandparents used to take me to all you can eat fish during Lent. And I don't think we even paid $3 for all you can eat. Now, MAGA man, I don't agree with that. I'm not a tuna person. I can't get past the smell, dude. All right, so moving on. Wall Street Ape says, it's all a lie. The real reason USAID was in Africa. Former African Union ambassador to the United States. Not even going to try to pronounce that name. Yeah, Monica, seafood is excellent brain food. Absolutely. Over there on YouTube. They're using the open access, sounding humanitarian, to consistently destabilize governments. Let's watch this clip.
We need to understand the real reason why USAID is in Africa. And not just USAID, but other NGOs. You look at DFID, which is the British equivalent, and many other smaller ones. Their sole purpose was to act as if they're coming to rescue Africa. They are coming in claiming that they're introducing grassroots initiatives that are going to help the people. And so they use that as a way to go into the most remote parts of Africa. When you look at it on paper, it all looks really good. But they're actually wolf in sheep's clothing. They are using that open access sounding humanitarian to constantly destabilize governments. I can tell you right now, the majority of African leaders, and not just African leaders, but leaders in the developing world, are celebrating the exit of USAID. If you think about it, their sole purpose, for example, filling in the gaps in healthcare and education, where is the change? Show me one country that USAID was in and education improved. Show me what country where USAID was in and healthcare improved. The social services they're bringing, it's peanuts. The American taxpayer needs to know the billions of dollars that are being given to USAID, a fraction is making it to the people.
This isn't just some random woman saying this. This is the African Union ambassador to the U.S. This is somebody who knows what's going on, who's been there and been on the ground. Now, she's saying that the USAID money was used for destabilizing governments. This is something we see over and over again. All the money that was supposed to be used for these programs was actually used for political meddling. This is something that happens in the United States all the time. One of the other things that she says here, right here, funds are allegedly diverted with little accountability. USAID was nothing but a giant money laundering operation. And check this out, reports of funds not reaching ground level, meaning all the money that's sent over there never goes to where it's supposed to go.
Just another reminder why Elon Musk made it his mission to cut out USAID. Hey, Kilburn, thank you for checking in over there on Rumble. I saw your repost over there on X, so thank you so much for that. Kelly B said, Rico. Absolutely. Courteous Rico just hits different, doesn't it? Nick Sorter says, now anti-ICE riders outside Delaney Hall in Newark tried fighting with ICE agents and immediately got blasted with pepper balls. As usual, ICE won very handedly. Looks like it's going to be another weekend of BS in Newark.
Against a bunch of unarmed people. No KKK, no fascist USA, no ICE. No KKK, no fascist USA, no ICE. Back up! Hey, just back up! Back up! Just back up! I got on fucking video. You guys came up with him right on the road. You little bitch! You think you're so strong, gay little bitch, yeah? With your phone? You think you're so strong now? How do you tell your kids? Fucking Gestapo! 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 You're all fucking out of control. You guys are fucking out of control. Why do you want to? You feel like a tough guy with your paintball gun? You're on the right side. 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 He's helping the Antichrist. You're helping the Antichrist. You are helping the Antichrist. Get out of my face. Get back. Raping kids. Here is the federal government attacking the people. Bring your fucking mask down, buddy. Bring your fucking mask down, tough guy. Bring your fucking mask down. Put your fucking mask down. Take your mask off. Take your mask off, tough guy. Take your fucking mask off. Take your fucking mask off. Why? Why do you want the Antichrist? Why did you spray me? Huh? Poison food. What's wrong with all of you? Why do you work for the Antichrist? What a big Gio! Fuck you too, Gio!
This is, by the way, this is. If you spit on me one more time, I'm spraying you in the face. You understand that? You already sprayed us. Go the fuck back inside. Go the fuck back inside. You're all guilty. Go the fuck back inside. Go rape some more women in there. Guilty. Why don't you go all of you? Why don't you go rape some more fucking women in there? Why don't you go rape some more fucking women in there? Why don't you go rape some more fucking women in there? 2.0! Yellow line! You fucking love your yellow line! Yeah, that guy was in your foot the whole fucking time! How the fucking hell? What's wrong with you? I should run you out! I hope that's not good! You're all fucking Nazis! You're all Nazis! Nazis! Nazis!
I mean, what do they think they're accomplishing? They're literally advocating for the people that rape our children, that steal our children and sell them into sex slavery. Yeah, there's a lot of comments saying, I don't know how these cops keep their composure. I don't either, especially knowing what they know. Did you hear some of these people saying, you all go rape women in there? What? What? Yeah, Nana2112 says they get paid to do it. Yeah, demons. Absolutely. K9 Andrea says, I'm convinced they don't know any better. Or do they? Or are they truly that evil? Unbelievable. So another post from Real AF Patriot. It's about who counts the votes. Obama and Biden both told us loud and clear. Both are guilty of treason.
I would just like to know what you can say to reassure us that this election will not be rigged or stolen.
Well, I tell you what, it helps in Ohio that we got Democrats in charge of the machines.
In a situation where we have put together, and you guys did it for our the President Obama's administration before this, we have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
It's no longer just about who gets to vote or making it easier for eligible voters to vote. It's about who gets to count the vote. Who gets to count whether or not your vote counted at all.
I mean, they tell you right there. Hey, Carrie girl, thank you for checking in over there on X. I mean, they did tell us. Yeah, Yeet Force official says they tell you. They absolutely tell you what they do. I don't know if it's some kind of like pact that they have that they actually have to tell you about what they're doing, because people don't believe it because it actually sounds so ridiculous that no, that can't be true. Got a couple more clips here. Julie Donut says 1913 Federal Reserve Act was the final nail in our coffin. We were funded by tariffs. Before that, Fed, IRS soon. Income taxes are unconstitutional. And we will end under President Trump. And I hope they end the stupid hybrid tax too. Let's watch this clip.
How historic these tariffs have been, bringing in revenue, additional revenue for our country. You've also mentioned before they could possibly replace federal income tax.
Possible.
Do you think that's
Someday it's possible. It used to be. So if you go back to 1913 is when they ended tariffs. We were the richest ever from 1850. It was all tariffs. We didn't have income taxes. From 1850 to 1913. In the 1887s, about 1887, they had the Great National Tariff Act. And it was a group of people that got together because our country was so rich, they didn't know what to do with the money. We had so much money, they didn't know what to do. It was a group of very prominent people that were set up to hand out money to everybody because we were the richest we ever were. Proportionately, we were in 1887, around that time, even in 1913. We ended them in 1913. How did that work out? And then we went to the income tax system, and then we had the Depression. And by the way, a lot of people try and say that, oh, tariffs with the Depression. No, they ended in 1913, and then we went to income tax, and then in 1929 you had the Depression. They did try.
They're coming to an end. I mean, he's narrative seeking. He's like, yeah, we don't have to have all these taxes. We can fund ourselves. So I do want to say this. Yeet Force said earlier in the chat that you remember I was telling you that I think they have to tell you about it. And he said implied in manufacturer consent. It's about the law. So here's a shocker for you guys. And I've said this for a long time. Wait till you find out that, I'll just tell you right here. This right here, nutrition facts, that's your consent to being poisoned. They can always come back and say, well, we told you exactly what was in it, but you decided to eat it anyways. That's their cover. Nutrition facts is just your consent to be poisoned by our own foods. They just make it difficult to understand. Let me see if I can actually read this here. I don't know if I can or not. I'll have to, let me see if I can turn on my flashlight here and read some of this garbage that's on this label that I drank yesterday that I probably shouldn't have. No, this one actually doesn't have that much stuff in it. It's got like only well, it's got like red 40, blue 1. I mean, what is this stuff? Like, for real, what is this stuff? Yeah, it's got the high fructose corn syrup. So yeah, I probably shouldn't have been drinking that. Oh, that's my weakness, guys, is this food. I'm telling you. So yeah, I mean, nutrition facts is just your consent to be poisoned. They can always say, well, we told you exactly what was in it. You just didn't do your research on what was in it. So I'm sorry you got cancer. Julie Donut said, why are you drinking that? Listen, I have my moments of weakness, and I was in the grocery store yesterday. We were getting some stuff I was getting some stuff for chicken and dumplings last night. And I passed by the cold case, and I went back to my childhood memories. They had Faygo on sale. And I was like, oh, I was like, man, I want one of those so bad. Well, I drank it. It was good, but it probably wasn't the best thing. Now, this is what I drink most of. And guys, I know it's bottled water. I do have a filter too that I use, and I really don't drink tap water a lot because now I do know that around here, I think they outlawed the fluoride and stuff in the public water, but it's still like there's a weird smell to our public water. So I don't know, but usually I drink this. You know, this is what actually I drank this morning. I am going to have to try natural milk. I have never had raw milk before. We were talking about that yesterday. Yeah, a Dutch Rumbler. You know, I was going through the grocery store yesterday and going through the frozen section. What did I have to get out of the frozen section? I think it was Tracy wanted me to get some frozen onions or something like that. And I was looking at all this processed food, and I was thinking to myself, and I'm like, what is in this stuff? Like, I don't even crave this stuff hardly anymore. Jen says our water is chlorinated, so chlorinated here it smells like pool water. I wouldn't doubt it one bit. All right, so we've got a couple more little things, and then I'll start playing that Q video from last night for everybody that missed it. Wall Street 8 says Greg Gutfeld goes off on Jasmine Crockett and her fans over the Carmelo Anthony statements. Pause real quick, guys. Have you seen the pictures out there? I don't have any readily available. People are actually like using AI to create themselves peeing on the young man's grave that got brutally murdered and posting it on social media. Absolutely disgusting, guys. Literally posting pictures of themselves pissing on this boy's grave. We don't know what it's like to be a black woman, and that's true. But she doesn't know what it's like to be a white man like me. I can't afford to be as stupid as she is. Like, I have to try harder because I'm going to be called all sorts of names. But she can say whatever she wants. I think she said it like, what if we were a white teen who stabbed a black kid? Oh, it would be different. And she's right. Let's listen to Greg.
We don't know what it's like to be a black woman, and that's true. But she doesn't know what it's like to be a white man like me. I can't afford to be as stupid as she is. Like, I have to try harder because I'm going to be called all sorts of names, but she can say whatever she wants. I think she said, like, what if it were a white teen who stabbed a black kid? Oh, it would be different. She's right. There would be riots, there would be looting, there would be murals, there would be marches, there would be corporate virtue signaling, quiet moments in the quad, politicians weeping, celebrity videos. I am Carmelo Anthony. We would kneel. Nancy Pelosi would wear a scarf. If this were in reverse, they would George Floyd the crap out of it. Fact is, we have an incredibly low bar for black leftist commentary. If any white person said that stuff about the murder of a black kid, it would be the apocalypse. But on the left, every heartless bozo gets a hall pass. The weird thing about it is we're in a situation where you can like talk about justifiable homicide when you're dealing with whiteness. And it's because we have created a filter of historical oppression. That, like, you could be innocent, but you represent something. So I look at you as a totem, I guess, for all the guilt. And because our society is evil and racist and bigoted, the stakes are life and death. So when I am confronted with a white person, I can stab you. That is what she is saying. She's not saying like, oh, he's innocent. She's not saying he's innocent and he's guilty. She's saying it's okay.
Justified.
It's justified. And this is when you are seeing behavior, and maybe it's my algorithm, but you see a lot of fights where there are people who do not know how to manage their emotions when it comes to conflict. And they go right to the punch or right to the stab.
Let's ask artificial intelligence who gets cared about more as a victim in America. Who would more likely get sympathy in America as a victim, black or white? Black. Next question. Who's more likely to get mass protests in their honor? Someone black. Who's more likely to get murals in their honor as a victim in America? Again, black. One more. Who's more likely to get corporate virtue signaling in their honor as a victim in America? Yet again, black.
I mean, even AI knows it. You guys are still in the chat talking about foods and everything like that. Yeah. I mean, I see it. Hey, Mama Bear, thank you for checking in over there on X, and For Husky, my boy over there on YouTube, checking in. He said, just tuning in, had to walk the dogs first before it got too hot. You must live in like an inferno, dude, to be walking your dog very first thing in the morning before it gets hot. Now, listen, I know all about hot. I live here in Mississippi. Whenever we moved here almost 3 years ago, I remember the very first day we moved down here, I think it was August 1st. I stepped outside and the air was so heavy and so thick. I mean, you could hardly breathe. And as soon as you walked outside, you were starting to sweat bullets. And I looked over at Tracy and I'm like, I said, I didn't mind moving. But good Lord have mercy, did we have to move to the hottest place in the United States of America? I was reading the chat here. So I've been using, somebody's talking, a Dutch Rumbler is talking about sea salt. I've been using this stuff called Himalaya salt. It's actually really good. It's that, I guess, that pink salt that everybody's using. And listen, guys, that's part of my problem. I love to make it rain, guys. I love to make it rain. I've gotten a whole lot better about it, and I switched to using a lot more pepper than salt to season our foods with and everything like that. But man, that Himalayan salt's pretty good. Yeah, Canine Andrea. And listen, I know we don't like McDonald's, but when you do go to McDonald's, do you ever get more salt? Now listen, McDonald's salt is different than any other salt out there. I'm just telling you, it's probably really bad for you. But I'm just like, yeah, but I've gotten a lot better about that though. And salt, I'm not convinced that salt is the big boogeyman like they say it is. Salt, Kilburn says salt is a lubricant. Muggy Vermont with Huskies, they are hot at 75. Oh, I get you, man. I get you. 4 Huskies, I got you. But yeah, I like to make it rain too. So we're getting like completely off topic, just like we always do. This is going to be the last news, and then we'll go into the Q video. Gunther says, Merrick Garland exposed, weaponized DOJ against parents and Americans. Of course he was lying. Merrick Garland knew exactly what he was doing. The federal government bringing weapons of mass destruction against the American people, against parents, and chilling free speech.
Garland knew exactly what he was doing, and he had internal pushback, and yet he did it anyway. Again, the federal government being weaponized against the American people, against parents, and chilling free speech, which I'll say it again. If we have redress for the federal government, like the anti-weaponization fund, this is the type of situation that literally parents could use to address Merrick Garland's DOJ time and time again.
You realize he could have been a Supreme Court justice. I mean, that's where he was queued up to go.
And thankfully, he got pushed out, and hopefully he's held responsible. This isn't the only thing he's done. I mean, we had Jack Smith, the Mar-a-Lago raid. We had the weaponization of the entire DOJ with Letitia James, Alvin Bragg. The list goes on of the things that Merrick Garland did against not just the president, but against anyone who was a dissenting voice.
And by the way, Merrick Garland is not really on speaking terms with President Biden right now because he didn't do.
It's all coming out in the wash. Yeah, Julie, I know we're going back to the salt thing, but Julie did make a really good point. After you have a heart attack, what do they give you? They give you an IV full of salt. And I've been, when I feel down and out, we have this little gas station right down the road for us called the Triangle. And it literally sits in kind of like a triangle. But anyways, I go in there, and instead of just buying a plain water when I'm kind of feeling down and feeling, tired and things like that, I started drinking these things called BioLites. I don't know if you all ever seen them. And I remember the very first time that I ever tasted one, it was like drinking water out of the freaking ocean. It was so salty, but I'm telling you what, those things work. I'm sure they've got some other bad stuff in them, but the premise of the whole product is that it's basically IV in a bottle, just like Julie Donuts was talking about. And was it Yeet Force that just said, guys, they used to pay people in salt back in the day because it was such a valuable commodity. He said that's where salary comes from, salt. The word salary. Yeah, Julie Donut says exactly the same with cholesterol. Yeah, I mean, not all cholesterol's bad, guys. I'm telling you what, fatty steaks are good for you. God gave them to us to eat. Yeah, Dutch Rumbler says your brain is made large percentage of cholesterol. Yeah, Kilburn said the exact same thing. Jinx. Yeah, vegetables are really bad. We switched to olive oils here, and we will never look back. Yeah, Julie says God does not make anything bad. Courteous, bacon is good for you too. I love me some bacon. And guys, I like it. I know I'm the weird guy, but I like my bacon light, which means like, not crispy. Yeah, Mary calling up says, bacon. We're all getting hungry here on Dawning Justice. We all need to go eat some breakfast, some good eggs. I love eggs, some bacon, all of that stuff. Man, I'm hungry now. I'm glad I'm fixing to play this Q video so I can go eat something. So, guys, it has been a blast this morning with you guys in the chats. And yeah, Monica Rodriguez said over there on YouTube, they've lied to us about cholesterol. Research it. Absolutely. Hey, Joe DiBiase, I haven't seen you in a hot minute. Thank you for checking over there on X. And he said, if they tell you to stay away from it, run towards it. Try beef bacon. China owns 90% of our pork productions. I've never had beef bacon. Huh. I'll have to check that out, man. Thank you, Joe, for that. I very much appreciate that. Yeah, a Dutch Rumble said, great. Now I'm hungry. All right, guys, I'm going to end it with this, okay? So, in speaking of what Julie just said, God does not make anything bad. So, the people over at Force Natural that we've partnered with, justiceshrimps.com, and Pet Club 24/7, justicepetclub.com, give us the power of the mushroom in a pill or in a dog treat, or there's so many different ways to take this stuff. So, I appreciate all the Rumble rants and everything like that, but do me a favor. Go to these websites, justiceshrimps.com and justicepetclub.com. And if you're giving Rumble rants, take that money and go check out some of these products instead. You're still supporting me when you go through my links, okay? You're still supporting me, but you guys are going to get a benefit out of it too, though. I just had somebody yesterday come in the chat saying, Josh, we ordered the mush puppies. My dog has tumors and they're already starting to shrink 2 weeks in. I'm telling you guys, this stuff works. I would not be pushing this stuff if it didn't work. Yeah, Kilburn says the mushrooms are game changers. Debbie V57 said, I ordered my shrooms yesterday, Josh. Now, for you, it takes about a good 4 to 5 weeks to really start getting into your system and taking a hold of everything. I noticed after the first 3 weeks some changes in Tracy. About her mental status and everything like that. So you got to stay consistent with it, okay? So go check it out. justiceshrooms.com and justicepetclub.com to get you and your pets and your loved ones back in balance from all this nastiness and stuff that we have to ingest from these companies. So go check it out. And what I'm going to do before I play this Q video, after the Q video is over, I'm going to end the stream. So I want to go ahead and pray us out now. And then I will raid you after this stream is over. I will raid you over to the Real AF Patriot for keeping it real coming on at noon. So make sure you give him a little love and give him that thumbs up over there. And don't forget, guys, if you are just tuning in for the very first time, make sure that you like and subscribe to our channel on whatever kind of platform that you're watching out there on. It helps us out so much. If you can't do anything else, at least give me that thumbs up or that red pill. It helps us so much getting people's feeds. So I very much appreciate that. So Casey Coyle is another one that ordered. And she just said, I'm starting feeling better about a week, but it keeps getting better 2 weeks in. I'm telling you, Casey, I really think that it's going to help you with your situation. Now, does it work for everyone? I would say it probably doesn't work for everyone out there, but it's a huge benefit, though. All right, guys, so enough about that. So let's end us in prayer. Lord, I come to you in Jesus' name, Lord. Hallowed be your name, Lord. Thank you again for giving us another day on this earth to spread your word, that you sent your son to die on the cross for all of our sins, Lord, that Jesus washed all of our sins away, Lord. And Lord, I'm not going to ask for much today, Lord, but I am going to ask for this one thing. Please help this administration to keep finding all of these children out there every single day and rescuing your little ones, Lord. And for the ones that are not rescued yet, we ask you that you are with them, Lord, that you are with them and holding them every step of the way, Lord. And even though the ones that don't make it, Lord, we know that they end up with you in your bosom, Lord. We know that you don't just let evil things happen, Lord, but you will make something evil into something good, Lord. So I thank you for helping this administration rescue all of our little ones out there. That's the only thing I want to ask for today, Lord. I don't care about my needs or anything else today. Just please help these little ones, Lord. And I thank you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to start our Q video. That it's basically the introduction to Q. We played it last night. We're starting a new series on tracing justice where we went back to the beginning, and we're going to be going forward through the drops. I think it's going to be a great opportunity for everybody to learn. We're going to answer questions in chats when we go. So spread the word out there. Thursdays at 8. Tracing Justice at 8 p.m. Eastern on Thursdays, where we start going through all these drops. So this is the video that I had an anonymous person that wants to remain anonymous make off of the article that I wrote about the origins of Q. So it's very, very good. It mixes in a couple of videos from like Anon and Joe M. And then I kind of put my own spin on everything as well, too. So if you've already seen it, thank you guys for watching Dawning Justice this morning. And for those that haven't seen it, and it's a good refresher if you've been in this movement for a while. And if you're just coming into the movement, like For Huskies, I think he was in Tracing Justice last night. So he probably already saw this video. But for those out there that don't chat, if you haven't seen it, let's watch this video.
First off, hello. So someone or something has sparked your interest in Q or to what the heck is going on in our country right now. Ever had that feeling that something in this world just isn't right? Well, friend, that's what we call friends in the movement. Buckle up. After you read this, there is no turning back. You are about to discover what a rabbit hole is in our movement, and it's one you will never forget. So grab your popcorn or snacks and drinks and just hold on, because I'm about to shatter everything you knew was true. We start with a Q primer video here. This video has some age on it, but it still rings true today. The video quality is a little lacking, but the content is what matters. See you on the other side.
Have you ever wondered why we go to war? Or why you never seem to be able to get out of debt? Why there is poverty, division, and crime? What if I told you there was a reason for it all? What if I told you it was done on purpose? What if I told you that those who were corrupting the world, poisoning our food, and igniting conflict were themselves about to be permanently eradicated from the earth? You might think that an idealistic fantasy. Well, let me tell you a story. We acknowledge there are criminals, of course. They rob your house, they steal your phone. They can murder you too if they think they can get away with it. We have all experienced criminals in one way or another. Criminals, as we know, are those who choose personal gain over the rights of others and have no regard for the law. But here is where you need to expand your thinking. Criminals can also succeed in business and politics and can be elected as our leaders. If a criminal became the president, imagine what they could achieve. They could use the full weight of their executive power to commit much larger crimes and ensure they and their friends were enriched to the fullest extent possible. A criminal president could create alliances with other criminal presidents and then collaborate on more global criminal activities. Anything goes. Drug running, human trafficking, whatever makes the big bucks. The 20th century was turbulent with war, economic disaster, famines, and displacement. We have always accepted these things as just human nature and simply the way the world works. Something inevitable and due to the weaknesses of human nature that drive us to these actions. This is where we were all tragically wrong. You are not a criminal. I'm not a criminal. So how can we just assume that it is human nature that is driving all this pain and misery? What if it wasn't human nature at all, and as a result of something more deliberate? We were taught that capitalism was the cause of a massive rich-poor divide and the reason for poverty, which in turn is the reason for war, crime, and starvation. Others were taught that communism, the system of equal wealth across all people, was really to blame for the mess. But you see, folks, it is none of these things. It is not our nature to fight and be racist. It is not in our nature to rob from others. What you must learn is that it was the criminals all along. Yes, they got power. More power than a criminal should ever have. They rose to the top of media companies that control our news and entertainment. They ascended to the top of the banking system, also to the Oval Office, to Brussels, to the Vatican, to the Crown. They crept in quietly. They became leaders of agricultural companies who have control over our food supply. Also big pharmaceutical companies, the ones we trust to help us when we're sick. Nobody stopped them, and they just recruited more criminals to help them. First, they accumulated the world's wealth. They invented a system of money called central banking, which lends money to governments with interest, placing countries into eternal debt. People's wealth got less. Their wealth got more. Much more. When a criminal is already as rich as they can get, then protecting their ill-gotten gains becomes the priority. Angry citizens tired of being poor are a major obstacle and can revolt if they suffer enough. The criminals needed to prevent this. So they diverted attention to the last remaining competitor, the people of the world. You and me. We were not happy being ruled by criminals and having to work 3 jobs just to survive. They know we won't accept it. So they use their control of the media to set black against white, woman against man, young against old, Muslim against Christian. They convinced us we were the problem so that we would fight and destroy ourselves. To get it done faster, they attacked all aspects of humanity that make us strong. Like family, using their influence over culture. They popularized lifestyle choices that led to a surge in broken homes, lost youth, and substance abuse. I could talk all day about how else they deliberately weakened us, and it would turn your stomach. We were just trying to get on with living. So where are all the good guys? Good people just want to get married, have kids, make a living, and enjoy their liberty. Well, there were good guys, many. One became the President of the United States in January 1961. He knew about these criminals and wanted them gone. He knew their intentions for us all, and he wanted to fight them. Sadly, he had no idea how powerful they had become. Reagan also had good intentions for the American people. He knew this criminal mafia controlled almost everything by the stage, including the powerful rogue intelligence agencies. His economic policies were promising, but the criminals needed a weak America to hold on to their power. Reagan was shown with a bullet that a growing U.S. economy and prosperous citizens were not what the criminals wanted. It was looking pretty grim for good people. Every time someone wanted to stand up and do the right thing, they got stopped. Were we ever to be freed? These criminals are also known as the deep state, or cabal, because of how they control things behind the scenes. Every president after Reagan was one of these deep state criminals, and their empire got even stronger. With each bad president came new depths America and the world would sink. The world collapsed into darkness. Do you need me to tell you how? Destroyed factories, declining job numbers, sicker people, opioids, destruction of Iraq, Syria, and Yemen with pointless war, displacement of people into Europe, ISIS, terrorism, collapsed governments, poverty, and genocide. Total misery. Do you think that was inevitable? Hell no. Well, here is where things start to take a new turn. When the full picture comes to be known, it will forever be regarded as the greatest story ever told. Well, here is the top line. Some good people still held positions of power. They valued humanity and the rule of law. While the criminals discussed their game plan at the annual Bilderberg meetings, the good guys were making plans of their own. The information age was coming to change history forever. As the internet flooded into every home and appliances became smarter, and when people started carrying tracking devices, an opportunity to put an end to criminal control over the world was emerging. We became connected, trackable, and surveilled. But so did they. They became dependent, just like we did, on email, SMS, instant communication. It made crime much easier, but it also put them on a grid that, if accessed by the right people, would expose their crimes to the public and end their iron grip on us once and for all. In this new age of information, it was thought that the military should also have its own intelligence agency to focus on cybercrime and espionage. They called this the NSA, the National Security Agency. Here we had every phone call, email, and text from every device stored and archived. Whether it be someone making a doctor's appointment or the deep state setting up a massive heroin purchase from the Taliban. In the right hands, it would be enough information to expose the entire sinister criminal plot to rob us blind and wipe us out. Hold that thought. Now I need to explain the plan. The good guys were devising a plan to reclaim the world from the cabal and return it to the people. It would involve alliances with multiple countries, since the criminals had global rat lines, trade, and other infrastructure in place that would need their cooperation. It came down to two choices for America: launch a military coup to seize the government from whichever cabal puppet was in the White House at the time, or win legitimately, take control of the NSA, expose the criminals for what they are, and arrest them all. Obviously, the first option would be very troubling for the public. With people still preoccupied with cabal-engineered social issues, they would likely revolt and hurt themselves and others. No, it would have to be the latter. So they needed a candidate who could win, and who could win big. Many states like California had been so heavily inundated by criminals that even the voting machines were electronically set up to swing votes any which way. It would need to be a very decisive victory. Good patriots in the U.S. military and their global partners asked Trump to run for president so they could take back control of America legitimately without alarming the public. Trump was a good choice, obviously, because he overcame the voter fraud and won. But he was a patriot, and he was loved and admired by the public. He was not interested in joining the cabal because they hated America, and he did not agree with them on that point. As soon as he showed interest in taking power, they activated their media assets to viciously turn on him. That's when we saw the sudden hatred emerge. Even when he won, the cabal still had no idea what he was a part of, and the sophisticated plan that was about to unfold against them. Shocked at their loss, they mobilized their full arsenal of intelligence, media, money, and technology to try and take back power. There are people at the top of the DOJ and FBI then put together a plan to frame Trump and have him impeached. This is where we come back to the NSA again. All messages were stored and could be used to expose this plot and prevent Trump's overthrow. An entire book will be written about the first 2 years of Trump's presidency. False flag terror attacks, downed planes, missile alerts, assassination attempts. Here is the point. The world is currently experiencing a dramatic covert war of biblical proportions. Literally the fight for Earth between the forces of good and evil. I can't put it in simpler terms, but I can say it appears the good guys are winning. The cabal had complete control over North Korea. They hijacked the Kim dynasty, took them hostage, and worked to build up a nuclear arsenal to threaten the world. Kim Jong-un suddenly embracing peace was simply because the deep state were beaten and driven out. ISIS was also destroyed in the year following Trump's win. We are all starting to see the pattern now, that enough time has passed, that our biggest global concerns are starting to recede, and peace is returning. It is all evidence that the good guys are winning the war. But we're still in the middle. While a lot is improving, it still puzzles many that most of these known criminals are still free, especially the higher-ups like Hillary Clinton, the Bushes, and Obama. That is coming in the next chapter of the story. That's why we have Q. The good guys with control over the NSA began the Q intelligence dissemination program to invoke an online grassroots movement that came to be called the Great Awakening. It started on underground internet channels and then moved to the mainstream. Q has been a fun distraction for those who follow world events and desire truth, but it is about to begin a much more important and necessary phase, keeping the public informed when the deep state war breaks out onto the surface. By this, I mean high-profile arrests. Yes, folks, the criminals I'm referring to are famous politicians, actors, singers, CEOs, and celebrities. People who have earned our trust, respect, and admiration. They have done very bad things that are all fully known and documented, and they will be severely punished. Those of us who have followed Q since the beginning will be here to help you make sense of the coming events. We are among the first to realize that our petty partisan divisions are just trivial distractions, and we are all enslaved by a hidden enemy. We realize that the problem was never capitalism or socialism, Democrat or Republican, black or white, Muslim or Christian. We know it was just very powerful criminals who had too much power. Fellow slaves, it's time to buckle your seatbelt, recognize your true enemy, and embrace a new future that we all owe to the brave patriots who risked their lives to achieve this victory against the greatest force of evil the world has ever known. May God bless America.
Welcome back. Shocked? If you need a minute before you continue, I understand. I needed a week before it really sank in. But if you're ready, so am I. So now that you just got a crash course in what the Q operation is, let's talk about it for a moment. On November 22nd, 1963, John F. Kennedy was killed. Shot in plain sight. Many of you wonder, why was he killed? Because he knew too much, and he was going to do exactly what Trump is doing right at this very moment. Destroy the deep state. He knew the first step was to get rid of the central banking system in the U.S., as that was the deep state's main lever of control in the U.S. from here on out. When I say they, I am referring to the cabal, deep state, whatever you want to call it. But back to topic. They knew what Kennedy was up to, so a coup was initiated by the CIA. You will find this out in the coming JFK files. This was a complete shock, as Kennedy knew that the deep state was big, but underestimated them. Big time. Shortly after, it is believed that the good generals in the armed forces got together and knew something had to be done, because if they could kill a president on national television, what was next? This is where our story goes dark for a good while, roughly until 2015. During this dark time, they were making plans to essentially enslave us all. But guess what? A counteroffensive was launched by our U.S. military dubbed the Q-Op. President after JFK became as crooked as the other. During this time, the good guys were making their way into key spots within our government to establish control and finally attempt to overthrow them. The team attempted the overthrow again during the Reagan presidency. Step by step and inch by inch, the good guys were attempting to bring us out of their control. Then the attempt came on Reagan's life. It was a warning across the bow from them. Reagan bugged out. So the Q team carried on, staying vigilant to the plan, but again underestimated them. More planning was needed. So let's fast forward to 2015. Okay, need a break yet? Is what I'm saying making any sense looking back at our history yet? It should be. Knowing what you know now, it should be starting to resonate with you. But I digress. 2015, the Q team knew this was their last shot. Because if Hillary had won, she would have finished off America, and we would soon fall under world government control, completely obliterating the deep state. Before we can go forward, let's go back a little bit, shall we? Who was Donald Trump's best friend in his midlife? JFK Jr.? Yep, you guessed it. The son of the man that started all this. JFK Jr. knew, and Hillary killed him for it. Trump had to be furious. It's rumored that Trump knew well before 2015 of the Q operation, but for argument's sake, let's assume he didn't. So in saying that, in 2015, the good guys knew it was do or die time. They needed a champion, someone who could take it all on and win, someone who could win and win big over the corrupt voting systems, someone that was famous enough to take on the Clinton machine, but he had to do it on his own publicly. Trump knew all about the rigged voting systems. Look at this excerpt from the Washington Compost about Trump having 88 generals supporting him in the 2016 election. Q drop 14, an excerpt from it. Are you seeing it yet? Trump accepted and won big. That's why you saw after 2016 the media suddenly turn on him. They never thought she would lose. If Hillary had won, it would have been the end to the United States of America as we know it. Most of us would be dead by now from imprisonment, internment camps, or they would have tried to reprogram us with re-education camps. That's why the white hats, the good guys, knew this was now or never. Barack was the starter. Hillary was the finisher. But Trump happened and ruined it all. In 2016, so many dark ops were ran, and Trump took control of the levers of government quickly. So much happened behind the scenes that books will be written about it in the coming years. But where do the Q drops fit into all of this, you say? Well, let me tell you. At that time in 2016, Trump had a choice to make. Do I utilize the military to take full-blown control of the deep state and round them up and arrest them all? An excerpt for Q Post 142. No, he couldn't do that. The public wasn't ready for it. There would have been mass chaos, rioting in the streets, etc. The world was still too inundated into the matrix and unaware of all the crimes against humanity and still trusted them. It would have cost too many lives and too much chaos. So how do we achieve the results we need? That's where you step in, the Anons. Trump knew that he had to get the majority of America to wake up to all the evilness in the world. It's time for you, the person reading this, to take the oath and join the greatest civil military operation in history. Will you answer the call? The general did.
Jack Flynn. Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support and defend.
That I will support and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I take this obligation freely.
That I take this obligation freely.
Without any mental reservation.
Without any mental reservation.
Or purpose of evasion.
Or purpose of evasion.
And
And that I will well and faithfully.
And that I will well and faithfully.
Discharge the duties.
Discharge the duties.
Of the office on which I am about to enter.
Of the office of which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Where we go one, we go all.
Where we go one, we go all.
God bless America.
God bless America.
Q Post 4511, the greatest military civilian alliance ever. Where we go one, we go all. Now that you have made the decision to take the oath and defend your country, let's dive more into the Q-op as you need more history before you step out into the battlefield. Back to the history. So as you see, he had to first take out the deep state's biggest weapon, the mainstream media. Do you remember when he coined the term fake news? Yeah, that's why. He had to cut off the brainwashing to the masses. Trump knew this was the slow, painful way to go, but the road with the least casualties. The Q-op team knew they had to do something extraordinary to wake the people up. Thus, the Q was created. They needed someone to spread the message to the masses. But information needed to come organically. Q could not give us all the info. The truth is learned and never told. They needed somewhere with critical thinkers. But where would they find these people with these unique skill sets to be able to figure all this out with snippets of information? Let's keep going as we're about to get into the birth of the Q movement. On October 28, 2017, an anonymous entity known as Q started posting on a website called 4chan on the dark web. These people on the message board were full of degenerates, full of porn, etc. But this board also had conspiracy theorists posting for years, people connecting dots, etc. The perfect place for the Q team to hide for a bit, while dropping us crumbs to figure out the pieces to the puzzle. As time went on, Q kept posting intel that only military or people within Trump's inner circle could know. Authentic pics from inside Air Force One, etc. Anons, short for anonymous posters, started putting two and two together and figured out this Q entity was indeed legit. But as you read the Q posts, you ask why so cryptic, so many codes, etc. These below were the very first Q posts. So you say, how could all this be real? Is everything I know a big lie? Is my history a lie? In short, yes, absolutely. Remember that feeling I talked about in my first post? It was right. Your gut was right all along. Now the question is, why so cryptic? The short answer is that the Q team had to avoid breaking national security laws. That would have effectively ended the operation right then and there. So we had to dig on information. Q asked questions and we answered after we dug. But you ask, how did we know it was the Q team posting? The boards had a unique identifier called a trip code that had to be inputted before every post. Only the operator knew it. Not even the board owners knew it. So that created validity and security for the time being. An example below. And every time Q changed the trip code, Q would let us know by posting first under the old one first. Below is a video displaying what we call Q proofs. Events that track back to let us know Q is legit and real. I wouldn't go any further till you watch this video by Anon55 on X.
Trump made a very ominous and dark speech about the decline of America. And while doing so, music began playing, and the music sounded exactly like a song called WWG1WGA, where we go one, we go all.
The former president of the United States, who wants to be the next president, is now directly spreading the slogans of the conspiracy cult QAnon.
Trump has posted or reposted more than 100 messages linked to QAnon since the beginning of the year.
The Trump crux of the theory is this belief that you are secretly saving the world from this satanic cult of pedophiles and cannibals. Does that sound like something you are behind? Or
Well, I haven't heard that, but is that supposed to be a bad thing or a good thing? I mean, if I can help save the world from problems, I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to put myself out there. And we are, actually.
QAnon. It is this theory that Democrats are a satanic pedophile ring and that you are the savior of that. Now, can you just once and for all state that that is completely not true
So,
and that disavow QAnon in its entirety?
I know nothing about QAnon. They are very strongly against pedophilia, and I agree with that. I mean, I do agree with that, and I agree
But
with
there's
it
not a
very strongly.
satanic pedophile
I have
cult
no
being run
idea.
by.
I know
You
nothing
don't
about
know
that.
that? Okay.
No, I don't know
You
that.
just this
neither
week.
do you know that. When this country is gone, the rest of the world would follow. The rest of the world would follow. That's the importance of this country.
On January 29, 2018, an anon asked Q if Trump could work the phrase tip-top into his State of the Union speech as a shout-out to anons. Instead, Trump said it at the 2018 Easter egg roll with the White Rabbit from Alice in Wonderland standing next to him.
Keep this incredible house or building or whatever you want to call it, because there really is no name for it. It is special. And we keep it in tip-top shape. We call it sometimes tippy-top shape. And it's a great, great place.
Q has used the phrase Alice in Wonderland in posts. Trump didn't just fulfill an anon's request, he pointed at Q. An anon requested a hashtag Obamagate tweet from Trump, and Trump posted Obamagate without the hashtag. On April 12, 2018, Q posted Twitter down. Exactly 1 year later on April 12, 2019, Twitter went down. The same day that Twitter went down, the NSA posted a picture of a Q on their Twitter page. This is important because Q has referred to the NSA in posts. On November 8, 2017, Trump posted a picture on Twitter with everyone giving a thumbs up. When an image is posted on Twitter, it's given a random file name when it's uploaded. If you connect the tips of the thumbs, it makes a Q, plus the file name for the image says do it Q at the beginning and ends with a Q. Q used plus signs to represent the puppet masters in a post. The House of Saud, the Rothschilds, and Soros. On November 6, 2017 at 5:07 and 57 seconds, Q posted, "Nothing is random, everything has meaning, plus plus plus." 7 minutes later Trump posted on Twitter and the tweet had plus 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 at the end just like the Q post. 50 minutes later Trump tweets about Saudi Arabia. The plus 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 in the Q post represented the House of Saud. On November 11, 2017, Q said that one side of the triangle had been removed, referring to Saudi Arabia, and that the other sides are falling.
In the last few months, the Crown Prince, the now Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, has consolidated power and pushed out several other leading candidates for the Saudi throne. The 32-year-old bin Salman has made public statements about not only fighting terrorism, but also modernizing Saudi Arabia and tackling corruption. And the Trump administration counts him as a valuable ally.
Remarkable times in Saudi Arabia, the hugely influential Sunni Muslim kingdom. There's been an unprecedented anti-corruption purge with sweeping arrests of senior politicians and business leaders and members of the royal family.
Among those princes, military officers and top officials that were arrested in the last 24 hours, Prince Walid bin Talal. He's one of the world's richest men, a major investor in Citibank, Twitter, and the parent company of Fox News, 21st Century Fox. He's also somebody who has publicly feuded with President Trump, and President Trump has accused him of trying to buy U.S. politicians.
These are incredible times in Saudi Arabia. There's never been anything quite like it. And
In some ways, it's very exciting. His supporters are saying this is the man who's going to lead us to the future, who's setting the stage for a modern economy, a modern society, and jobs for all the millions of Saudis who are pouring out of schools and universities. Others, though, especially the older guard, are extremely worried.
We're particularly pleased to be selling the jewels of Hannah de Rothschild. The jewels that we're selling, which comprise a magnificent pearl and diamond tiara and a bracelet and matching brooch.
Billionaire George Soros is handing control of his $25 billion empire to his son, Alex. His son, Alex, is 37 years old. In an interview with the Wall Street Journal over the weekend, he said he's more political than his father, and he hinted at a significant financial role for the Soros organization in next year's U.S. elections.
Aviation call signs are unique identifiers assigned to aircraft, like a nickname, but the call sign doesn't have to be the same for every flight. In 2018 there were civil and military aircraft spotted flying with the call sign Q, or ANON. The United Parcel Service, the U.S. Army, and the U.S. Air Force. There was even a Royal Australian Air Force spotted flying with the call sign ANON. On December 7, 2018, Trump jumped on Air Force One to fly to Kansas. When Air Force One was wheels up, the call sign popped up as Q0. The fact that there was a Q in the call sign was big, but the question was, what did the zero mean? After the flight, Q confirmed that Q0 means Q+. That means Trump was flying with the call sign Q+. The reason that's big is because Anons think Trump is the person that posted on the Intel board as Q+. Not only does that point to Q, but it points to Trump being Q+. On October 2, 2018, Q posted 5347 by itself. On November 6, 2018, the U.S. Senate election results were 5347. Q called the Senate votes a month in advance. On January 13, 2018, Q posted checkmate, which is a victory in chess. In 2024, Trump posted a hashtag by itself. In chess the hashtag means checkmate. On October 5, 2018, Q posted, "The picture will be the signifier," and dropped the link to an account with the handle, QAnon Baby.
They respect us. That's more important. Look at that beautiful baby. Look at that beautiful baby. Wow, what a baby. What a baby. That is a beautiful baby. That's like from an advertisement. Look how happy that baby is. So beautiful. Thank you, darling. That's really nice. It's a great thing. Is that your husband? That's a great thing. Thank you. Congratulations, husband. Man. What a picture. Well, we're going to have the country all set.
On July 17, 2019, Trump stopped in the middle of his speech to point out a baby, took a picture with his hands and said, "What a picture." When the camera pulled back, the baby had a big Q on their back. This happened on the 17th day of the month. Q is the 17th letter of the alphabet. On October 10, 2019, Trump posted a video on Twitter. At the 1 minute and 34 second mark, Q baby pops up. If you hold the 1, and add the 3 and 4, you get 17. The GOP hearing on the DOJ's investigation into the Clinton Foundation was set for December 5, 2018. Q started dropping D5 in posts like something big was going to happen. On November 30, 2018, George Bush Sr. died. His funeral date was set for December 5, 2018, and the GOP hearing was cancelled. On December 3, 2018, Q asked what the odds are that the Bush funeral would be on December 5th, and pointed us to the empirical rule. Then Q posted, "Postponed, well played Deep State, please allow us to counter." Q's promise to counter had Anons wondering if something was going to happen at the funeral. That's when the secret envelopes came into play. Cameras just happened to be in the perfect positions.
After 1989, President Bush said, and it's a phrase that I often use myself, that we needed a new world order.
Pick the people to run those agencies and the deputies that are pledging allegiance to the new world order and good governance. And then I think you have the Inspector General do some spot audits to make sure that there is real compliance.
The burdens of global citizenship continue to bind us together. Partnership and cooperation among nations is not a choice. It is the only way, the one way.
Things like technological change, things like mass media, things like the market are all subject to our control.
Since then, we established a liberal world order, and now is a time when things are shifting. There's going to be a new world order out there.
Look, I think that everyone is going to have to take a hard look at where they want to be at this moment in history, as we're looking at efforts across the country to prevent people from being able to exercise their fundamental rights.
The chair declares the joint session dissolved.
Where's the concern for the United States in that?
Well, it's not my concern.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order.
On December 11th, 2017, Q posted, "Follow the wives." All the envelopes were delivered to the wives. An anon asked Q what was in the envelopes. Q answered, "Our promise to counter." In 2020, an anon made a D5 connection. A declassified memorandum for the Director of National Intelligence, about the unmasking of General Flynn. The document's date is the 4th of May. 4 equals D, and May equals 5. Q replied, they thought it meant December 5th. On February 22, 2018, Q posted, "Fight, fight, fight." Q only posted that one other time in over 4,000 posts. When Trump was shot, and had Secret Service covering him, not knowing if there were more shooters, he broke protocol to put his head and fist up to say, "Fight, fight, fight." If he was going to die, he wanted those to be his last words.
Each of you enters service at a truly exciting time for our country. For we are witnessing the great reawakening. With this strategy, we are calling for a great reawakening of America. Now we are calling for a great reawakening of nations, for the revival of their spirits, their pride, their people, and their patriotism.
On September 19, 2017, Trump called for a great reawakening of nations in his UN speech. On October 6, 2017, Trump said it was the calm before the storm, and on October 28, 2017, Q dropped the first post.
You guys know what this represents? Well, maybe it's the calm before the storm.
What's the storm?
Could be the calm before the storm.
What storm is
We have the world's great military people in this room, I will tell you that. And we'll have a great evening. Thank you all for coming. Thank you.
What storm, Mr. President?
You'll find out. You guys know what this represents? And somebody that's been with me from day one, he's a real general. You know, we have the real generals and we have the fake woke generals that did so poorly in Afghanistan should have all been fired, but this is a real general, Keith Kellogg. Right, Keith? And this is a great group. It's good to see you, Keith. He's been with me from before day one, right? He said, that guy should run. We got to get him to run. I like those guys. They were here before I ran. You know, there's quite a few of them. General Flynn, along with General Kellogg and some of our other friends. We have so many friends. We have over 200 generals and admirals supporting us now. We had 17 Congressional Medal of Honor winners endorse me. When I first came here, I was only in Washington 17 times in my life.
On December 9, 2017, at 10:34, Q posted a quote thanking the military. Then Q pointed us to timestamps, and let us know a proof was incoming. 3 hours later Trump tweeted the exact same thing without the quotation marks. Q quoted Trump's Army-Navy game tweet 3 hours before he posted it. On February 22, 2019, Q posted the best is yet to come.
My fellow Americans, for our movement, for our children, and for our beloved country, and I say this despite all that's happened, the best is yet to come.
For we still believe that the best is yet to come.
On June 13, 2020, Q posted, "Seeing is believing. Sometimes you can't tell the public the truth, you must show them. Only then will people find the will to change. It had to be this way. This is not another 4-year election. 2020 to 2024 has been called the pause. Let the deep state steal 2020, and let the people see for themselves." In 2022, Trump confirmed it.
One of the important factors of the pause is that we see how bad they've done. So we will be able to do it properly, and it will be much easier. Everybody will agree with us because everybody sees what a bad job has been done during this 2-year period, and it will be a 4-year period. Everybody sees that. It will be much easier for us to do what has to be done.
Those text messages were sent from the wife of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. I looked at past inaugurations as far back as George Bush. Not once did the military walk up and stand behind the president. The man on the right is a judge advocate general, and the man on the left is military intelligence. What Trump says when they're standing behind him is also important.
Today's ceremony, however, has very special meaning. Because today, we are not merely transferring power from one administration to another, or from one party to another, but we are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to you, the people.
On November 1, 2017, Q posted, "The only way is the military, once 11.3 verifies as first marker." Some people assumed it was an arrest date, but they were way off. 11.3 is a section in the DoD Law of War Manual discussing belligerent occupation of a country. End of occupation and duration of Geneva Convention obligations. The status of belligerent occupation ends when the conditions for its application are no longer met. Certain Geneva Convention obligations with respect to occupied territory continue for the duration of the occupation after the general close of military operations. End of occupation. Belligerent occupation ceases when the conditions for its application are no longer met. In particular, as discussed below, the status of belligerent occupation ceases when the invader no longer factually governs the occupied territory or when a hostile relationship no longer exists between the state of the occupied territory and the occupying power. Belligerent occupation ends when the occupying power no longer has effectively placed the occupied territory under its control. For example, an uprising by the local population may prevent the occupying power from actually enforcing its authority over occupied territory. Similarly, the occupying power's expulsion or complete withdrawal from the territory would also suffice because the former occupying power generally would not be able to control sufficiently the occupied territory. Rest in peace, Mr. President, JFK. Through your wisdom and strength, since your tragic death, patriots have planned, installed, and by the grace of God, activated the beam of light. We will forever remember your sacrifice. May you look down from above and continue to guide us as we ring the bell of freedom, and destroy those who wish to sacrifice our children, our way of life, and our world. We, the people. This has never been attempted before. The use of the general public to counter the propaganda push by the controlled media. Analysis indicates that situational awareness of the general public is expanding at a massive pace. Attacks indicate the loss of generalized information control by the mainstream media, military, and civilian alliance.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people.
The American populace is facing an unconventional warfare scenario. This is information warfare.
I could go on and on with Q proofs, but like I said earlier, the truth is learned and never told. A lot of people are asking now, how was Q foretelling all these events years before they happened? I'll answer this question with another question. Do you know what the outcome is of a movie if you are directing the movie? If you have control of all the information, can you direct? Yep, that's a hard one to grasp. Many Anons still struggle with that one. Q says over and over, patriots are in control, but not everything is under control. Watch the excerpt from Real Justice with Real AF Patriot. Myself and we know from X to sum it up.
Into reading those scriptures and making sure that we understood them.
I got a question for you. As far as the Q operation, are you, I'm not entirely sure, are you a full control guy? And if so, what do you consider full control? Because some of us have a little bit of a different opinion on that.
What do you mean full control?
As if basically, not only the Patriots being in full control of the media, which you kind of alluded to earlier with the 17%, but also kind of like everything's already happened. All the investigations have already happened, and everything is kind of just being shown to us now in a methodical way.
Yeah. Yeah. What do I think about that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question.
I don't want to get you in trouble.
No. Not trouble. No. I mean, we're having a dialogue now.
Yeah.
Look. I'm all on board with the Q drops. I'm also fully aware that Dan Scavino, President Trump, and some others, when they post stuff and we look at their timestamps, they're continuing to talk to us directly. Mm-hmm. And they're letting us know what's going on behind the scenes. And they're doing the best they can. If we had full control, then why would President Trump come out and start screaming with cuss words that they don't know what blank they're doing? Why would all of a sudden this rogue missile go up in the air and all of a sudden you've got this country that wants to go demolish a whole city because of one missile going up in the air? Who shot that missile? Why? Yeah. Where did it come from? Who controls that part? Was it part of some movie that we're supposed to believe? If we were part of some movie, then how come people died in Afghanistan when we were withdrawn from there? If we're in full control, then you're telling me full control means that we allowed those people to die? Are you following me? My method of this? So I'm not on a boat of it's all scripted out. It's just a complete movie. I think that we could be watching a movie in a sense of, yes, there are controlled parts to throw off the enemy that has still some control of some aspects of what's going on. And they're getting thrown off to an extent that they have no clue who's wearing a mask and who's not wearing a mask. Mm-hmm. We could talk about that for hours. We could get into Biden. We can get into that whole system of, okay, there are guys out there saying, hey, I forgot his name, but there's a guy that does a great job in saying, look at these military drops showing that President Trump kept the continuity of government, and that Biden was never in charge, that President Trump was actually the president behind the scenes. I struggle with those. It's not like I'm fully on board and go, oh, that's it. Yep, that's it. That's what's going on. I'm actually still on that side of, man, I need to keep researching because I'm not really sure how this thing is playing out. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do the best I can to get information out and not be dogmatic about it, but say, hey, I'm still trying to do my research. What I am dogmatic about is if anybody out there who has big followers on social media platforms start saying, well, I don't think I'm going to vote for Trump anymore. Oh, Trump made a mistake by picking this person. Oh, Trump should have never done that. I start warning people like, man, if you're going to start doing that and going against the guy who's running the show here and has the intel guys behind him doing it all, that's where I struggle with, hey, don't go that far with me, because that's where I'm very dogmatic. I really believe President Trump was sent by our Heavenly Father. I don't worship the guy. I talk about it all the time, right? How many times have we said we don't worship this guy? He's human, and he'll make mistakes too. Moses made mistakes. We don't worship Moses. Moses, what did he do? He got angry and took that stick and hit the rock, and he wasn't allowed to go into the promised land because he had an attitude problem. He messed up one time, So hopefully that helps answer a little bit. We can go deeper that if you want, but that's kind of a surface level answer.
I want to interject something here. I think that we have control to a certain point. I don't think we have full control over everything. There's still rogue actors out there. People are going to make decisions. I think that we have control over some of the media, and I think that stuff is leaked out. It's got to be controlled release, right? Because it would put 99% of the people in the hospital. Yep. So a lot of people say that President Trump's assassination attempt was staged. I don't believe that at all whatsoever. No. I think that was God intervened in that because, he is chosen to save this nation. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of with you on that. I know some of my peeps out there are full control. I think it is to a certain point. Yep. I think that Trump has all the information and he can direct things as he needs to. Yep. But having everybody under control, I don't believe that either. I think it's to a certain point.
Yeah, try to control 5 kids in my house.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's my first thought. It's like, okay, you think that they have control over this entire earth and 9 billion people, and they can find out every tunnel that every single person's in and every gadget that they have to use against us? Oh, no. It's like the weather manipulation folks are talking about. Yeah, what about the weather manipulation? If he had a button he could push for every single person in like on a video game and just go and start shooting them all out, okay, then yeah, we're talking about full control. But no, like you said there with the whole thing with the assassination attempt, I've watched so many videos of his ear, they turns to the right and boom, you got that scrape that goes right across his ear. Mm-hmm. That's not AI generated, number one. Number two, people were killed they died.
Right.
And the other thing is, how come the media went hush hush? They showed up all of a sudden. The media showed up one day for his whole speech that day out of all days, because they were looking forward to what they were told behind the scenes. This is the day. And then that happens. And the next thing you know, what do? They squash it and they don't want to talk about it. And they don't want to, all the proof is coming out that it wasn't from that one kid, that there were some things happening behind the scenes on the water tower. And the more we start digging, then people are coming to us saying, hey, do you guys have the information? Because we know we can't trust the mainstream media. We're just trying to do the best we can to gather what everybody else is gathering. Mm-hmm. And then we're like, okay, let's piece this together and get it out to the people to say, look, let me show you what's going on. Let me show you why this doesn't add up. What do you guys think? And it gets us to think about these things. Man, imagine if we would have had this for 9/11. Mm-hmm. The ability to communicate with each other in social media and go, hold on a second. Because I fell for the whole thing. All I had was the media.
Yep.
That's all I had. And so I believed everything they told me. And I was like, all behind, let's go. We're going to go attack them. They attacked our country. Let's go. Man, now that I know more and more of the truth, and even President Trump alludes to that, yeah, something strange about that 9/11. Yeah, we need to get to the bottom of that. He's really careful about how he talks about it. But he knows what's going on. He knows what happened. But Can he just come out and go, guys, I want to tell you all the truth. We're going to lay it out today, and we're going to spend 10 hours and tell you everything. He can't do that.
No, absolutely not.
No.
So, go ahead.
No.
Our Rumble link is here to our channel. But let's get back to the original point to all of this. This operation was to wake up the masses to the corruption, so when it comes time, as you are witnessing today, to drain the swamp, the people will be on his side, rooting him on. This was not possible in 2017. Can you see it now, why it had to be this way? Q post 4951. This is a brief synopsis of what Q is. It's not really a deep dive into all the insane outs of all the Q posts, but I will give you a brief synopsis on how Anons come up with their decodes and who to decode in part 2.
You thought you could bury me, thought the dark would close in. You were wrong, you don't know who I am, and you never will. You drew the line in the dirt and flame. They said I'd break, said I'd shame, whispered threats through a locked back door, but I've heard sound before. You pushed and pulled, tried to crack my back, but I don't collapse like that. I don't run, I don't bend, I don't bow to fear of men. When the dust clears, you'll see you never buried me. We're not backing down, we're holding the line. Truth will be heard, not just whispered in time. You can't stop this, we will not fall. When justice rises, it answers the call. You thought you knew what I stood on, but this ground's been here too long. Stealing the blood, fire and breath. I don't scare easy at talk of death. You don't know the weight I carry, or the hand that stands behind me. You can shout, you can lie, try to crucify, but chains you swing and stones you throw only make the pressure grow. We're not backing down, we're holding the line. Truth will be heard in its own time. You can't stop us, we will not fall. Justice is coming, and it's coming for all. You thought you could take me down. You don't know who I am. I don't stand alone. God holds my sword of truth.